This is your lecture for 70-741 Lesson 7, Managing and Using IPAM. So let's start off with covering some of the key terms. As you can see, administrator, administrator, administrator. Pretty self-evident. A DHCP scope administrator manages DHCP scopes. A DNS administrator manages DNS. Just basically exactly what they say they do. Let's take a look at some of the key terms towards the bottom of the list. Role-based access control, RBAC. Role-based access control is a method of granting access to a computer or a network resources based on the roles of individual users within an organization. Access allows an individual to perform specific tasks, such as read or create a file and open a database. Trusts. Just as with ourselves, relationships between domains or forests enable a user to be authenticated by domain controllers from another domain. So just in the same way as you may trust another person, we do that between our domains and our forests. Within that, we can build what's called a two-way trust. It is a trust that goes both directions. Domain A is trusted by domain B, and domain B is trusted by domain A. Users in each domain can access resources in each other's domains. So, in IPAM, you can manage DHCP servers. You can edit the server properties, edit server options, create new DHCP scopes, configure predefined options, user classes, create and edit new and existing user classes, configure vendor classes, or you can open the management console for a selected DHCP server and do those same functions from it. You can also retrieve data from several or multiple servers. From the DNS perspective, you can manage your DNS zones and records. You can track all configured zones, zone type details, the healthier zones. You can, as we said, view all your DNS servers and zones. You can create new zones. Here again, you can right-click on the server and open up the DNS Manager console for that server and do those same functions. We can create DNS resource records. We can also manage conditional forwarders. To view the zones, you just have to click Server Manager, IPAM, Monitor and Manage DNS Zones. Let's talk a little bit more about managing DNS and DHCP servers in multiple Active Directory forests. Remember when we created our first domain controller? It was the first domain controller in our first forest. It's called the root domain controller. It is at what's called the forest root. Your domain is the forest root. Trust are relationships between domains or forests and enable a user to be authenticated by domain controllers from another domain. Through the use of trusts, users can access and share resources across boundaries. Domain controllers provide the authentication for users via either Kerberos or NT Land Manager, NTLM. Understand that Kerberos v5 is the default protocol, but it can fall back to NTLM if necessary, if Kerberos is not possible. A two-way trust, as we discussed before, is a trust that goes both directions. I trust you and you trust me. You allow me to see your resources. I allow you to see my resources. Same thing. Domain A is trusted by domain B, and B is trusted by A. If there are more domains, such as domain A and B and C, if a two-way trust exists between A and B, and a two-way trust also exists between B and C, which means domain A is trusted by B, and domain B is trusted by A, and domain B is trusted by C, and domain C is trusted by B, because of the existence of both of those two-way trusts, domain A will also trust domain C, and domain C will also trust domain A. It can go much farther than just between two entities. Understand, though, that to create a forest trust, both domains of the trust must be the forest root domain and have a forest functional level of at least Windows Server 2003 or higher. That's pretty much a gimme these days. The DNS infrastructure must be able to accommodate DNS requests between forests. You must be a member of the Domain Admins Group, Enterprise Admins Group, or have been delegated the authority with the appropriate permissions to create the trust. To be able to create that two-way trust, you need an account in the external domain with the appropriate permissions. Or you need to be able to work with the other domain or enterprise administrator to complete that trust. Understand that working in a network, there may be many different roles that need to be carried out. And these roles are going to be carried out by different people. Network administration is a vast topic with many varied and differing roles required to carry it out successfully. Within IP address management, there are several sets of tasks that might require separate staff to carry them out. For this reason, IPAM relies on Role-Based Access Control, RBAC, to provide the necessary delegated administrative features. Understand that RBAC, Role-Based Access Control, is a method of granting access to computer or network resources based on the roles of individuals within an organization. Access allows an individual user to perform specific tasks such as read or create a file or open a database. When you do perform this, you could delegate control, for example, to become an IPAM administrator to a member of a group that has those privileges. You'll walk in the lab, you'll go through the steps to perform this. So if you delegate and give someone permission as an IPAM user, they can view server discovery, IP address space, server management information, but they can't make changes. The IPAM administrator, if they're a member of that group, have privileges to view all IPAM data and perform all IPAM tests. In addition to that, you could set a user account to be a member of the DHCP administrator, the DNS administrator, and so on and so forth. So you may have staff who are DHCP administrators but not DNS administrators, and they could have separate functionality assigned to them within the IPAM server. In this lesson, you learned IPAM can monitor DHCP and DNS servers from any physical location in your organization, as well as simultaneously manage multiple DHCP servers or scopes that exist among multiple DHCP servers. From the perspective of DNS, you can track all configured zones, zone type details, and the health of those zones. You can display all forward lookup and reverse lookup zones on all DNS servers that IPAM is currently managing. With Windows Server 2016, IPAM can manage resources in its current Active Directory forests as well as remote Active Directory forests. Understand, however, that to manage remote DNS and DHCP servers, you need to have a two-way trust with the forest where IPAM is installed. you can see that there's many different functions in IPAM. So within IPAM or IP address management, there's several sets of tasks that might require separate staff to carry them out. For this reason, IPAM relies on RBAC role-based access control to provide the necessary delegated administrative features. I hope you found this lecture of benefit. Thank you.